Alright guys, we're back working on the engine and the teardown. What we want to do now is kind of just flip it over. Well, no, I want to take the harmonic balancer off. What I'm trying to do is take the harmonic balancer off. I noticed that when number one cylinder is at top dead center, the mark on the harmonic balancer is at 0. So I'm pretty sure that's got to go back the same way. So we'll take the nut off. Now I don't have the proper puller, so this might not come off. Take the nut out. I do have a dead blow hammer here. I don't know if this is going to come apart. Oh, it is. It's going to come off. Coming. Ever so gently. There we go. Oh, there's a key on it. I don't know if you can see it, but right there's a keyway. Well, that'll help go back in the same place. Alright, now we got that balancer off. I'm going to flip around, slowly turn it around. See if we can get the oil pan off the bottom. See how nasty that looks down there. Yeah. Yeah, that should be good. Okay, we'll loosen off these oil pan bolts. See what happens. Not very tight. Oh, missing a bolt. There's one more here. There's a little bracket from the old fuel line, holding the old fuel line up. I couldn't get off before because it's underneath the bolt for the oil pan. So there. We'll take those off. See, that's the one. My first bolt that held on line for the fuel. Yes, this engine is very dirty. That's why I'm opening her all up, trying to find out where all the gunk and the oil's coming out of. Replace all the seals and that kind of stuff. All the bolts look to be the same length. And like I said, I am missing one bolt. Did it break off in the previous owner? I don't know. Alright. Are we ready for this? Alright. Here we go. Well, that's the bottom of the pan. Looks to be quite a bunch of sludge in the bottom. Just a little bit of sludge. And yes, there is one bolt that has broken off. Not by my doing, but the previous owner looks like broke off a bolt. That was pretty loose. What was that? Yeah, there's that. Here. Some oiling shield, I don't know. 3 bolts to hold that on. They weren't overly tight either. Actually quite short. That guy just lifts off of there. And that's got all kinds of sludge in it. Interesting. Never saw an engine like this. Maybe I shouldn't. No use to stop now. Turn the engine back around. Cover off the timing chain. And a couple of bolts. Looks like there's going to be 3 long ones 1, 2, 3. I have 4 short ones on the bottom. Just making a note of that. Those bottom 4 are the same size. Okay. That one's shorter. Alright, the top 2 are medium length, and there's one that's nice and long. See, this cover comes off now. There we go. I don't know how much play a timing chain is supposed to have, but that's a lot of wiggle. Okay guys, we're back working on the engine. Got a few more thin parts to take off of it before we can power wash it, degrease it, clean it up, take the crap out of it, measure it all up, and see if it's worth rebuilding, see if I can reuse it. Hopefully I can, because I really don't want to drop a whole lot of money into it, because I don't have a whole lot of money. So let's get to it. Alright, let's take this apart piece by piece here. We want to remember how this all goes back together. Alright, first we got a bolt. Washer. I believe this is the gear that your your distributor runs off of. Here's the gear for the piece that the fuel pump slides on. There's a nice big groove on there. Alright. So I gotta loosen this off. That should be, and that'll wiggle, so that's gotta slide off. I gotta take this bottom gear and this top gear, they both gotta work together and come off as one unit. Same idea on the crankshaft. Got a nut, washer, and this little dish. Now, there we go. Oh. No camshaft. Oh. Nice and easy now. There we go. That's that. Now what else we got on here? Got this tensioner spring. I'll take that off too. Okay, that's the last thing that's got to come out, is that shaft. There's the crankshaft. Don't know if I should take those keys out or not. Do they come out easily? I don't want them to fall out and lose them. I don't know that they come out very easily. No. So we're going to leave that in there. There's another. Right there should come off. Those come off easy enough. Oh, didn't want to drop it. Alright, now I want to take my pistons out. This is a pretty crazy idea of mine to tear this engine down. With this comes the real tricky parts. Want to pull the pistons out gently, and then I can pull the crankshaft out of here, I hope. So, turn that around so I can get to the parts I need, get to the bottom of the bolt. Now we got to take these pistons out. So we got to disconnect the connecting rods, which are bolts on either end of the connecting rods all the way down. And this is the part that makes me really nervous. Now I loosened off the first two already. So those ones are loose. And I also loosened off the second ones. But we're going to try to get this first piston out. Now I really want to document this because all these parts that are going to come out, they all got to go back together the same way. The same way. So first we take the nuts off. Once I get a piston out, I will put the caps back on, the ends of put the nuts back on and the caps back on. Now, how are we going to get that to come loose? Really don't want to use any real force. Alright, so we're going to work on, I believe it's number one cylinders first. 1, 3, no, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, like that, 5, 6. So we pulled it off in this direction. There's a little bit of a bump on this center line. I've also noticed there's a little bump on the other center line, and they're both toward each other. So that's something to note. If I flip it over on the side here, there's a number 4 right here on the edge. Now you gotta remember this engine's upside down, so if we twist it around, this would be the driver's side and this is the passenger side of the engine. when we turn it back around. So this number here, number 4, would be on the passenger side here. And the bearing here has got a couple of notches and one notch on this side. There's nothing raised, there's no raised edges. But there's a couple of bumps on that one, and a little notch, and on this side is a notch. So I'm just going to pull it out like this. We're going to bring it over to the bench, set it down exactly how I took it out. Now I'm using the wooden handle of the hammer. Just try to be extra gentle, extra careful to get this guy out. Will he come out? That's the question. I don't know. I don't have any more room in my hands, do I? I don't know if I should take them all off like this, lift the crank out so I got more room in there. I really don't have any room to get my hands in there to grab that connecting rod anymore. There it is. You definitely don't want it to drop on the ground. Don't want it to hit it with anything. Oh, it's right there. Just using my hand, piece of wood. It is moving very slowly. Sure isn't a whole lot of room in here. Oh my, yeah. I see. Oh, there we go. Woo, baby, there's number 1. There is number 1. Well, the rings aren't broke. They turn very freely. There's a scar there. Well, I have to find out if that's a good or not. I don't know about those scars. The connecting rod slides side to side nicely. I try to pull it in and out. Doesn't go in and out. Doesn't wiggle. Like I twist it a little bit. Doesn't. It's pretty solid on there. The only movement there is side to side, and that's that pin going side to side there. That's pretty neat though. Do the same number 2. Like I said, I already loosened these ones off. I'm going to turn that a little bit. And back to there. There we go. Let's look at this one. This one came off the same way. The little dent here is toward number 1 piston. Hard to see if that says 83 or 88. What's on this side? Ah, this one says number 5. There's 3 on this side. 5 is here. So 5 and 4 were facing each other. 5 cap was facing number 4 cap. And once again, let's look in the bearing. It's got the little couple of dashes there. And you can faintly see a line on this side, like a groove all the way across. There is no groove here. You can faintly see that line. On the end of the connecting rod, there is a groove on the end of it. I'll show you when I get that out. This ain't that easy. Trying to be gentle and all. Gentle and persuasive at the same time. I've got 2 rings out. Ah, there we go. Alright, there we go. That's how she came out of that one. Once again, if you see on this side, there's that groove. And that was into the center of the engine. Once again, the rings don't look to be cracked. They're broke. They're very oily, dirty. So that was cylinder 1 and 2. This should be number 3. Alright, once again, it's got a little dent in here pointing toward number 4 cylinder, I guess, piston. Because it went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So number 1, 2. Number 3 is pointing toward number 4, and let's see what the inside is. That one also says number 5 and 0. See on this side, 2 marks. 5 and a 0. Alright. And that little line is on this post. A faint little line on here. You can see that. That's on the inside post. Alright, well that was a bit of a struggle. That one really did not want to come out. But this was the piston that was rusty on the top. And all these rings are stuck. These piston rings are stuck, except for the top one, but those ones are stuck in there. Obviously, and that's dry. Dry, dry, dry. And that connecting rod doesn't wiggle anywhere other than the side to side because the pin. That's interesting. Same thing. It's got the little dent, an old knob there pointing toward number 3 cylinder. And let's turn to the inside. I got a 5 and a 1. And turn it back to the outside. I got the 2 screw heads, like a 95 on that side. All these ones turn nicely. Like that. Once again, there's no broken ones as far as I can tell. I guess they'd fall off if it were broke. A little brown. Okay, bumps facing in. Number 2 and number 5. On the outside, same little screwdriver, everything. That actually says 24 on that side. And you got a 2 over here and a 5 over here on the inside. Alright, these rings are a little stuck. The second one, anyways, is a little stuck in there. The oil ring is a little bit stuck as well. Okay, bumps facing in. 4. With no number. And then the slots on the other side. Alright, here's the last one. The first ring is pretty stiff. The other 2 kind of move a little bit. That's all the pistons. Let's see what it takes to get this crankshaft out. Now from the front of the engine they're numbered as a 1. There's an arrow pointed to the front of the engine in every one of them, except for the very last one. And the first one is labeled number 1. And then this one's got 26 and 38. This one says 36, 23, and that one's blank. Oh, mama. Oh, that's tight. Plan B. Then we'll loosen them all off. This coming looks like a nice snug fit. There we go. And what are we looking for? No other markings. And then the arrow pointing to the front. Okay, back working on the V6 here. The last thing we left you, I think, is we were trying to get this last main bearing cap off. And it was right tight in there. It was so tight in there. I needed a second pair of hands. And I didn't have the proper puller to get this out. So what we managed to do was take a block of wood, come up from underneath this engine stand, and rest the block of wood right underneath the bottom of the crankshaft here. And we were hitting on that with a hammer on the bottom on that block of wood ever so gently. And I was also holding up on the crankshaft to keep pressure on the main cap here. And it slowly came up, tap, 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 and we lifted it right off. So this is how it looks. We got the I got the bearing out of here now because it was pretty loose. And I got a rope seal in here. I noticed that on the one side the rope seal is set down a little bit and it's sticking out on the other side. And of course it's the opposite down in the block. The opposite is down and the other one is raised up. So I just want to make a note of that. Somehow I have to find out how tricky it is to put a new rope seal in there. And also it's got these pieces here on the side that also look like a type of metal or a rope seal as well. I'm not too sure. I'll have to look at those. But now we can get the crankshaft out. And that's exciting. Ever so gently. Man, that's got some weight to it. Oy. Also, we also can remove the camshaft ever so gently. Just kind of working it out. There we go. And there's the camshaft. You notice a little bit of wear on the lobes as we go through. So we'll have to take a look at that. Most of the time I think you replace these. I don't think you reuse these. But like I said, this is my first time, so I have to research that and find out. There we go. There's my empty block. All my pistons are gone. Only the one piston gave me a headache. The one that was a little rusty at the beginning. That center one. That one was a little stubborn to come out. She really did not want to come out. But we got it. Tried to take them out as gentle and as easy as I could. So that's the bottom side of my block. Well guys, that's about as far as I physically can take this engine apart. I don't have the proper tool to take out the cam bearings, so if this block ends up at a machine shop, they can take the bearings out, they put new ones in, they know how that goes. So we're going to clean this block up, we're going to clean all the rest of the parts up, scrub them down, degrease them, degunk them, defunk them, you name it, clean them up. And then I got a few new tools in here for measuring, so we're going to measure up the cylinders, measure up crankshaft bearings, and all that kind of stuff. We're going to measure it all up, I probably won't post any videos on cleaning because, yeah, that's pretty straightforward. Scrub it down, wash it up, soap and water, hot water, whatever you got, clean it. But I hope to make some videos on measuring the cylinders, measuring some of the crankshaft and that kind of stuff. And we'll go from there. Hopefully we can reuse a lot of the parts. Hopefully I don't have to buy, hopefully I don't have to bore out these cylinders, because I'm pretty sure the price starts climbing up once you do that. I'm assuming you're going to need new pistons if you bore out your cylinders. I don't know if that changes your connecting rods at all. Hey, this is all new to me, guys. So we'll find out. Hopefully it's not a nice paperweight. If it is, yeah, that's going to suck. That'll be disappointing. But you don't know until you try, and this is my first time, so hey, we'll find out together. Until then, guys, catch you later.